I have nothing, because it's winter.
I'll just mention that I've been meeting with.
Okay, we're going to call the, well, first I got to announce that the meeting is being audio and video recorded. So anyone in the room that wants to go and review this, see how good you looked on video, you can do that anytime. If you're watching from home, you already know this is being recorded and broadcast, so we should be live out on Media Connection at this point. And you'll be able to, again, go and review this, both on the app, which is SMC, and on the YouTube channel as well. So there you go. We're going to call the January 31st, 2024 meeting of the Lake Quinsigamond Commission to order. Thank you all for coming. The world is ruled by those who show up. So there you go. The first thing we're going to do is vote to appoint the Lake Quinsigamond officers for the calendar year. So, do we have any nominations for chair?
I'll make a nomination. We nominate Peter Collins to continue to be chair of the commission.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any other nominations for chair? You can nominate yourself, Mike. It's okay. No?
You do a great job.
Okay. I'll accept, I guess. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving right on. So I have a nomination for vice chair.
I'll make a nomination to appoint Mike vice chair.
Michael Piker.
Piker.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Excuse me.
I get a little nervous there for a second.
I didn't mean to make you.
Michael's going, I don't know, wait. Which Michael?
Yeah, right.
All right, so I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? All right, so voted. And then I'm going to make a nomination for Bill Nelson for treasurer. You did such an outstanding job last year. Is there a second?
I'd like to second that.
Would you accept that?
Yes.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. All right, we're good. We did it. Okay. Review and act on the acceptance of the November 2023 meeting minutes. Has everyone had a opportunity to
Yes.
read those? And
I'd like to make a motion then, if people have reviewed them, in terms of accepting the minutes of said meeting.
I second it.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Opposed? No. All right, good. And moving right along. Okay. Review and approval of bills and expenses.
There are no bills and expenses this month.
Okay. Fine. And public participation. Is anyone from the public that, you guys are already on the agenda, so you don't, all right, so no. We had no one sign up? Okay. And then review and act of request of the Worcester Boat Club for the Quinsigamond Sprints Regatta on August 4th, 2024. Quinsigamond Sprints. Good name. All right. You guys want to come up and tell us what it's all about? No? Toss a coin? Yeah. Come on up.
Go sit at the table there.
Yeah. Harry, just introduce yourself. I know who you are, but,
Yep. Harry Sankrat, Shrewsbury resident on Torbridge Lane. So the application is for the organization of the Quinsigamond Sprints Regatta for the third time. We've run it very successfully last year and the prior year. It's a Masters Rowing Regatta for the rest of you who haven't been here in the early.
Masters means,
Masters meaning adults, not college or high school or youth. It's,
old guys, old people,
yes, us folk, right?
us folks.
Yeah, over 24.
I'm speaking for myself, not you, Joe.
This year, we needed to move the date to the first Sunday in August. The last 2 years, we had the last Sunday in July, but because of competition in Narragansett, Narragansett Boat Club is running their big regatta the day before, and where they are located in the mouth of the harbor, so they need to deal with the tides. Long story short, because of it, they couldn't have it when they traditionally have it end of June, but we became aware of it, and then the weekend before is Cromwell Regatta in Boston, also a big and established event which we don't want to compete with, so that's the reason we moved to apply for August 4th. And just about everything else is as it was in previous years, including having U.S. rowing sanctioning our regatta with officials on the water, and just as before, EMTs, divers, the traditional safety precautions that are that you're expected or used to from the QRA college regattas. So I mean, that's the summary. Hopefully you had received a write-up and regatta plan in advance, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are we in possession of that?
Yeah, it
Yes.
is in the packet.
It's in the packet.
Oh, it's in the packet?
Plus,
Sorry.
we got an email about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
An email.
so, oh, sorry. Is there a ramp closing?
Nope.
No ramp closing?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
No.
That's all good? I'll take a motion to.
All right, I'll make a motion, having read through all of the paperwork on the email that came earlier and seems to be very well done. I'll make a motion to approve that we have this regatta on the date mentioned.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Much appreciated.
very good.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, enjoy, have fun. All right. Okay, the next thing is review and act on adaptive, it says adapted, but adaptive, it should be adaptive water ski event on July 10th, 2024 for disabled veterans. And this one does include a ramp closure. So this event is a new event. There was an adaptive ski, which we, as a commission, approved last year for kids with disabilities. It's basically the adaptive ski program is it's actually pretty cool. So it allows you. They have the special equipment that all different sorts of disabilities can be accommodated to go out there and try water skiing. There's sit skis. There's regular skis. It's a very well run organization. They have a lot of volunteers with that go along, and they sit beside the people inside ski and whatnot. So they have all these safety. They're all U.S. water ski certified drivers and instructors and whatnot. So it's a very safe sport and well run. They have chase boats around, so if something should happen to the skier while they're doing the run, there's someone there to accommodate that. This event is going to be different in that it's just going to be exclusive to adaptive skiers that are veterans. So I think it's really a cool event. They want to, and one of the reasons we wanted to get this on the agenda and approve it so they can start promoting it. But basically, they're going to. It'll cover any physical disability that's out there, as well as it doesn't have to be physical. It could be PSTD. It could be anything that they want. The veterans can come and ski if they want. So we anticipate, and having seen this, because I had gone down to the original folks in Connecticut who actually trained the people that are hosting this event in July. And I met some of the adult veterans that came down And it was an impressive. I can't even describe the feeling you get when you see these people out there, and you see them. They basically drive themselves. Some of these folks had come from 200-300 miles to participate in this event we had in Connecticut, and they basically got themselves there. They got they had their own adapted vehicles to get in there. They had their equipment, which was very impressive, carbon fiber boards and all this professional stuff. And some of these folks could literally ski in a slalom course with these sit skis, and they did it on their own. They basically didn't have side skiers like we do up here and all that. They just kind of got out there, got on the ski, and went and did their thing. So it was pretty cool. And the really impressive part about it was that there was a lot of sad stories around why they had disabilities from one way or the other, and it went from everything from birth to veterans and injuries they sustained there, and in tragic accidents and whatnot, and disease. But there wasn't like an unhappy person. We'd gone out to lunch together after this whole thing. There was probably 30 of us, and it was just a very uplifting experience. A very cool group. So. There's probably going to be a lot of new people to this and on this event, so I think it's well worth it. And the town of Shrewsbury is working with us at the DRC. They're going to have a food truck down there, so it's going to be a big event. We'll have law enforcement, so you'll be seeing those applications coming both on the water and on land. So there's going to be a ramp closure because we're right next to the ramp when we do this. Last year we lucked out; we didn't have a ramp closure, but just so happened that the Mass State Police were on the lake that day, just randomly. They were there, so we worked that out. Shrewsbury did have a detail land on the site, so that also was helpful. So, does anyone have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. What hours are this going to be on that date?
Oh, good question. So they hope to start setup at 7 a.m. The skiers will start probably about 8:30 a.m. And it goes to like 4-ish on the water. That depends on how many people show
So-
up. Typically, they have a morning
So
session.
rollers will have to be off the lake by 7 a.m. then?
Yes, at that point, yep. So we'll make announcements to make sure that they understand that. Because they're going to be using that dock.
Right, it's at the
Right.
QRC.
Yep.
This is on a Wednesday, is that correct, Mr.
That's
Chair?
correct. They try to pick a day that's not going to be that busy. They obviously don't want to have it on a weekend. Any other questions? All right. So I'll take a motion to,
Make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we accept this particular water skiing event on July 10th, 2024, for disabled veterans with a ramp closure from, I'm going to say approximately, the ramp closure will be, 7:30 a.m. to about 4 p.m.?
yes.
Okay.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you. All right. Okay. I lost my, here it is. Here we go. All right. Okay, we're going to go down, number 9, Commissioners' Reports. Mr. Pica.
Not a lot to report, Mr. Chair. Couple observations. Yesterday, I actually did see a bald eagle fly over Route 20, so they're in the area. I guess this is the counting season, I guess, relative to birders. Around the first end of January, the first part of February, eagles are known to start to work on rebuilding or building nests. So it was nice to see that there's an eagle in the area. About 2 weeks ago, I saw her on the Flint Pond and in some corners of the Half Moon Cove, some people skating and ice fishing. Let me just say that at this time, there's probably no safe ice on the lake. And people ought to be aware, although the snow falls into cold water and then doesn't melt, and it looks like it might be safe ice, as like last year, the safe ice is It might happen in February, it usually does for a brief period of time, but this commission does not condone anybody using the ice. And it's always at one's risk, and one ought to have a lot of trepidation in this year as well as our experience with last year, and that is the lake does not freeze as hard and as thick in terms of ice as it has previous years. So beyond that, Mr. Chair, it's needless to say, although there's been open water, hardly, I don't think I've seen a boat on the lake for a month, maybe longer. It's but that's okay. The lake's been given a break in some respects. Also, I don't know if it was going to come up tonight, Mr. Chair, but we're going to have a subcommittee meeting on that, which we had a public meeting on last month in terms of the use of personal watercraft. It was nice to see the public participation in it, but I know it was people that were driven in terms of being advocates for or opposed to. But again, hopefully at the next meeting we'll have then the results of our subcommittee meeting and maybe then move on the issue as to whether we vote on the issue of jet ski use in the lake or not. So other than that, Mr. Chair, that's it in a nutshell. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. Friends from Shrewsbury Police.
Good evening. I'd like to introduce Sergeant Ryan Bradley. He's going to be taking over the daily responsibilities of the Lake Patrol this year. Sergeant Bradley's been with the Shrewsbury Police Department about 8 years now. Currently, he was 2.5 years as a patrol sergeant on the evening shift. Just to give you a little history, he kind of spearheaded our community services and in community engagement side of our department, which is a new division for our department, in which the lake will fall under. I think that was mentioned by Lieutenant Palmetier in some previous meetings. He currently does the social media for our department, runs our bike patrol, organizes stuff like Coffee with a Cop. So he's, very, very much in tune with community events. So we're excited to. I should mention, he recently transitioned over to the Sergeant of Community Services. So he's now going from patrol supervisor to this community services division full-time. So he'll be able to spend more time assisting you guys with lake duties and daily responsibilities, and we'll be handling these meetings from here on out. And he'll do a great job for you guys. I have nothing more to add. Anything we'd like to say?
No, we're just excited for the warm weather to come.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So
When you get to the warm weather, you'll be saying, boy, I can't wait.
Yeah, right.
I can't wait a winter. Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this and for all the stuff you guys do. Mike, you know how I
Yeah.
feel, so I'm gonna
I
miss you,
would.
man. I'm gonna get all teary, but you did a great job, and I really appreciate it. And things really started to turn around when you took over. So that's
I appreciate it. I had a good
big shoes to
time.
fill.
Yeah, I had a good time being a part of the commission, and Ryan's going to do a great job. He does a great job for everything else, so I don't expect anything less. I'll put it that way.
I'm good. Yeah, we've gotten some good folks out of the department, so we're
Yep.
thankful for that, of all the stuff that all you guys do. So great. All right, and we're open, so don't hesitate to call us if you need something.
Great.
So for sure. Thank you. Sergeant Garman.
I got nothing to report, really. We plan on having the boat on the water in May, based on weather, but full-time Memorial Day weekend. But if it's 9 degrees out the weekend prior, we'll obviously have the boat out there. So we'll pull the boat out of dry dock,
Okay.
probably like the 1st of May or something like that. But it's winter time. We have nothing to report on the lake, but I'm going to defer to my captain, Matt Early, about some information that he has that he can pass on.
Okay. Great, Captain.
Good evening, everyone. I've been meeting with residents of Flint Pond, and we secured a slip at Point Rock yesterday, so we'll be putting our smaller boat on Flint Pond, and we'll leave it there for the summer. And we'll work with the gentleman here from
Fantastic.
Shrewsbury
Yeah.
to come up with a plan to address your jet ski issues.
All right. Perfect. And the subcommittee meeting's tomorrow night, so we can.
Yeah, I'll be,
You're gonna be on that.
yes.
So yeah, we'll Did you get an invitation?
Yes, I did.
You had that? Okay, perfect. So we'll, yeah, we can start, I guess, formulating a plan at that point.
Yeah,
So that's great news about the other boat.
Yeah.
So thank you
it's
for
an old
that.
boat, but it will,
Yeah, well, that's okay, as long as it gets around,
yeah.
you know. I know that one year they put, and I'm not advocating we should do this, but, you know, the state police they had that big giant enclosed thing on the lake, but all they did was they parked it in front of Regatta and turned the lights on and people slowed down.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful boat. A little too
that's,
big for my needs.
They didn't even have the machine gun mounted on it, so. All right,
Mr. Chair, quick question.
sure.
You mentioned about taking one of the boats out of dry dock and putting it on the lake on Memorial Day. What about the QRA regattas in April and May?
When that, yeah, we'll definitely be on the lake for that. I should have said that, 'cause I'm waiting for the environmental police to get back to me with all the dates and stuff like
Okay.
that. And the thing is, they take what, they're first and they pass on to us in Shrewsbury. So, like in the fall, we pulled our boat out because they didn't need us anymore. So I'll communicate with the captain of environmental, and if they need us on the water in April, we'll be on the water in April.
Okay,
You know, I would imagine we will be. I should have, I actually forgot about the regatas.
okay.
But that's the, that's the pecking order, that it goes,
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
to environmental first, and then if
Right.
MEP has a hole in it,
Yeah.
then they'll pass it on.
Doesn't matter who
These guys.
provides them, long as we have the
As long as
boats.
you have someone there, yeah. Yeah, okay. Good enough. Well, that's great news. All right, Mr. Nelson.
There's been very little on-the-water activity by any of the crew clubs. What little activity's been going on is probably involving rowing has been at the Holy Cross indoor rowing tanks, and that's about it.
Have you
Nothing more to
been to the
add.
rowing tanks?
Pardon?
Have you been to the, you
I've been to many rowing tanks. I've never been to the Holy Cross ones.
haven't been there? Yeah. You know, the Worcester Boat Club goes once in a while, right?
I've also seen many videos
URC goes too.
Yeah, do they? Yeah.
of students rowing at the Holy Cross rowing tanks, but
Those
I've
are
never
cool. I've never been
personally
in one.
tried them
Yeah.
out.
Cool stuff. You've been doing your erg workouts though, right?
Oh, just finished 5K before I came to the meeting.
That a boy. Yeah. All right. God bless you. All right. That it?
That's it.
Okay. My only report, I guess, is regarding the meeting tomorrow night. So we're going to have as Mike had mentioned, we're going to have a subcommittee meeting on Zoom. We've basically appointed two residents, one that lives at Point Rock, actually, and one that lives on the Worcester side, down closer to us, that have an interest in the discussion of the jet skis. A lot of people have interest in it, but we wanted to kind of keep the committee as I guess streamlined as possible. But there'll be two members for the commission here. Michael and I will be on there. There'll be two members of the Lake Quinsigamond Watershed Association on there, and then law enforcement from Worcester PD, from Shrewsbury PD, and from MEPs. I'm also going to invite the state police on as well, because they do patrol the lake. So hopefully they'll be able to attend. I don't think they're going to be here for tomorrow night, but they'll probably be here for the next one. We're going to have I'm going to try to get 3 in between now and the February LQC meeting. If we don't do that, this may bleed in a little bit till March, but I think I'm hoping that we'll get this basically recommendations done by February. Everyone's, I think, been thinking about this, as it's shown by they're bringing in leadership in all the police departments. So that's a good thing for us, and we're going to get this thing done. The whole goal of this, we don't want to restrict anyone if we don't have to, but it's got to be a situation where we can accommodate people with free use of the lake and safe use of the lake, and not go through this next season like we have the last 4 seasons. So that's really what we're trying to accommodate. We've been extremely fortunate. I mean, we have had transports to the hospital and things like that from activity on jet skis, but we've not had any, serious injuries or fatalities. Thank goodness. So, I'm hoping that we will be able to, come to a plan that makes sense and that it can accommodate as many people as possible on the lake. So that's what the goal is. And there'll be more updates on that in the next meeting. These meetings will be posted, and people can get on, and anyone from the public can watch these things. They're going to be virtual, so they can get on. There won't be a lot of public discussion outside of the people that are actually on the committee. We're going to try to keep the meetings to an hour just to accommodate, because everyone's got busy schedules. So we want to not invade in any of that stuff. So, it's all off work hours as well. So, and we want to make sure that we're all volunteers, but just for people who are doing this as extra. So that's it. Any questions from? All right, perfect. And then that's it for the commissioners' reports. And an update on the lake management plan, including an update on the Lake Quinsigamond drawdown. So the drawdown was successful in that, we got the dam down all the way to the bottom, but nature didn't cooperate with us very well this year because they kept throwing water in there. So at one point, I think the water was up almost
Back to level,
back to the normal pool.
with the
they
dam
call it,
down.
with the dam all the way down. And at one point, I was getting calls, which was funny to me, from people that wanted me to call a no-wake zone because the water was high, which I'm thinking, well, that's great, but there's no boats on the lake, so I don't know who's going to make a no-wake zone. I think the whole thing's a no-wake zone. Apparently, there was one wake boat out there at the time. I got a call that was zooming up and down the main part of the lake, but that kind of went away. So the lake never really rose to that, and I did monitor it. I did measure. So the lake never got to the point where we would have called a no-wake zone even if we're in season. So we were probably 8 or 9 inches short of that. So we were pretty far away. But it was interesting that the lake has been this high for this long in the season, which doesn't typically happen.
Peter,
Yes.
Chair, can I make a comment?
Sure.
We were lucky this year when the dam's all the way down and the water comes up so high, because the Grafton DPW is a little worried about the Quinsigamond River overflowing, in particular the old stone bridge, right?
Yep, the railroad bridge.
Yep. Route 30 meets 140. If soon as that fills up and it won't let any more water out, they were a little.
The park?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
a little worried.
That's 122 and 140.
About that, but there was no problem. If it happens next year, there might have to be some reconstruction of the dam if it gets too high in the winter when the water's too low, because there's just too much water flowing over for the river to handle.
Right. So I drove by there today, actually, to check that out. And it was at a level, I've seen it this high before. I judge that by I can't get my paddleboard underneath it with me on top of it. So, so it's up there. When they redid the dam, when was that? 15 years ago or something like that. They redid the Irish Dam. Not just the gate, but they did the whole project. They redid it. And then again, when they did the gate, I asked them, can we make it go down further? Or I think in the case what you'd be asking for, what the DPW would be asking for, is for us to put the dam up.
Right, put it up
Put it
if
up.
there's
so,
too
yeah.
much water.
Okay,
going
so
in.
yeah, because we can't bring it down any further.
Right.
We got land.
It's
on the
not a
bottom.
question of bringing it down.
So it's bringing it up.
It's regulating the water flow when it's heavy rain, so there's not more water going down than can fit underneath
Right.
140 at Washington Mills.
Okay, so, all right, let's keep an eye on that, and we'll, DPW can contact me, and we'll figure that out, because like to keep an eye. We have to be careful, obviously, because if we raise the lake up, that can also be a problem on our end. And at some point, the water's got to come out. So, you know,
Yep.
there's that. I don't want to take out, you know,
140.
the post office pub. All right. Good, thank you. That's about it for the lake management part of it, although we will be getting, what that's next on the agenda. So we have a lot of new people in the circle this year. But Katie, come on up and just introduce yourself and.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Katie Liming, and I am the new Lakes and Ponds Coordinator for the City of Worcester. I started about 2 months ago, right just after Thanksgiving. My background's in environmental science, and I'm a Worcester resident, so I'm very excited to be starting this new position and have the opportunity to work with all of you as well. So I'll just take the opportunity, since we're at the beginning of the year, to discuss some of our priorities from my program, looking forward into the next bit of 2024, and I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any. Yes, you can.
Mr. Chair, if I may, Katie, you know, it's your first attendance at a meeting. I don't want to put you on the spot, but my observations, living on the lake and driving around the lake, on any given day, a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, saw some what looked like large trucks at the Lake Ave pumping station. They almost look like fill tank trucks. And I was thinking, oh no, has there been a problem again with Lake Ave in the recent past? So I asked a question, not knowing specifically in terms of what might have occurred, but it seems to me it happened a few days after we had a significant rain event of about 3 inches of rain. I was worried and wondering as to whether surface water along with sewer water infiltration had overwhelmed the station again or not. So I guess it's a question. I don't know if you have any answers or knowledge of what I'm talking about, but since you're here tonight, I figured maybe I'd ask the question because I don't know of anything else other than my observation, which was a little bit concerning because historically, as you might know, that pumping station has been the cause of a lot of problems.
Sure, that's absolutely understandable. I can't speak absolutely definitively on that. I'm not aware of the large trucks being there.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been notified of any overflow or any spill or anything like that. I'm certainly would be notified if there had been a serious problem. And I do know that there are operators there all the time to make sure that that pumping station is all up to it, that it's functioning well. If you'd like to talk to me a bit afterwards, if we can maybe narrow in on the date that you saw those, I'd be happy to follow up with our division, our sewers division, for additional information.
Just a question, it's all. I just wondered what was going on. You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was serviced, like I said, there was service trucks there, and they had those cones out on the street and stuff, and I'm wondering what's going on. You know, that's
So, yeah, because we usually get I get pinged if there's a, what do they call this?
a CSO.
CSO, yeah, if a
900,
CSO
yeah.
comes across, I'm on that line there. And also to Mike, that next month, we'll have a new conservation agent from Worcester.
okay.
So, which is actually I don't want to spoil it, but he's actually a
Okay.
employee of the town too, of Shrewsbury. So Andy Truman, he's actually been here before with the rowing dock. So, so that'd be good. So we'll keep on top of that.
right.
Sorry, so you're gonna, what are your priorities this year?
Sure. Well, Commissioner, did I answer your question satisfactorily?
Yeah, you did. You,
Okay.
you just don't have any knowledge of, and that's where it stands right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Well, as I mentioned, as I'm sure that the commission is aware, the Lakes and Ponds program conducts our own monitoring program, and so we are excited to be maintaining that for the coming year. We sample at 7 sites in Lake Quinsigamond semi-monthly between May and October. We are also looking forward to supporting the Quinsigamond bacterial monitoring program and those efforts. We support that financially and as well are happy to support and weigh in technically as needed, although I understand that it runs pretty smoothly as it's currently set up. And then we are also excited to maintain our volunteer monitoring through the Worcester Cyanobacteria Monitoring Collaborative. We have always at least one site on Lake Quinsigamond every year. We're considering if we will have the capacity to expand and have volunteer monitoring at multiple sites this upcoming year. So stay tuned for more of that. This past year, the City of Worcester contracted for invasive plant management in the Management Zone A. That was for variable milfoil, Eurasian milfoil, and fanwort, using two management applicants. The post-treatment survey that the contractor produced recommended a follow-up survey in the late spring or early summer to verify how the plants are doing, and hopefully they're maintained in their efforts. So we're in our budget request season right now. We've requested funds for invasive plant management on Lake Quinsigamond, either through an additional survey coming up or for direct management, kind of depending on what the needs are. And we would look forward to working with the commission to identify the best plan forward and make sure that we're coordinated in our efforts as well. Additionally, we're looking forward to supporting some Lake Quinsigamond Watershed Association water chestnut pulls. And I have been working with the chair of the commission to discuss how my program can support the commission in getting all the permits done and figuring out the best and most efficient way to do that. That's a quick summary of kind of what we've done in the past and how we're excited to continue it on forward. An exciting new initiative that we will be doing is watershed-based plans for the city of Worcester. So these will be focused on the three main recreational watersheds in Worcester. This type of planning is aimed at non-point source pollution. So that will seek to identify management measures that can reduce pollution coming into the lake, specifically for phosphorus, but we'll be looking at E. coli and other nutrients and other non-point source types of pollutants as well. We're excited to do it for Lake Quinsigamond. This plan would assess the entire watershed, not just the section that Worcester occupies. But it would also create recommendations for management measures. Worcester, of course, would only be able to fund management measures within the city limits, but we would be excited to collaborate with Shrewsbury and Grafton to share our data, share what we found, involve both municipalities in the process to the extent that is reasonable based on everyone's capacity. As well as support management measures in Shrewsbury and Grafton to the extent that we're able to. So at this point, I'm happy to answer any questions. Yes?
Follow-up question on your real-time monitoring comment. You said that, if I recall correctly, that you hope to get at least one of the two real-time monitors on Lake Quinsigamond most of the time. If I recall last year, one of them didn't appear, the second one didn't appear till halfway through the summer, and I'm not sure, but I believe it was because it was out for repair for many months. So my question is the reason that we might only have one on Lake Quinsigamond is because only one's available, or that we're sharing it with other lakes, and what other lakes?
All right, so Are you referencing our real-time continuous monitoring?
Yeah, the
buoys?
two real-time.
Okay. I actually didn't mention that, but I'm impressed that you brought it up. So yes, the last season, one of the buoys, itself, not the monitoring unit, but the buoy that supports it, was damaged, and so that was taken out of the water. And this past year, we had a new buoy that supported that unit. So we did have 2 of those units in Lake Quinsigamond for the entire season. And those are dedicated to Quinsigamond as well. We have we have a 3rd unit for Indian Lake and then a 3rd unit for Coast Reservoir. At this moment, we're still kind of going through the process of analyzing those data that were collected. It's a new process for the program. So our our standards for understanding those data are not as robust as our traditional in-house monitoring program. But it's a great opportunity. So we're excited to see how it can dovetail and continue to provide information.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is that
That's all I had. Any
all I
other
had.
questions?
beautiful? Thank you.
Welcome and thank you.
Any other questions from anybody? No?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katie. Nice job. Okay. Next up, Lake Quinsigamond Watershed Association.
Hello, I'm Barbara Kickham. I represent the Lake Quinsigamond Watershed Association. This year, we had a meeting Thursday with New England Interstate on organizing our grant for our weed pull that we're gonna do again this summer. So we've got 2 for sure we're gonna do, tentative dates, 1 in June and 1 in July. I'm not even gonna say because they're so tentative. And then we'll probably have one maybe after work. Weekends are tough, everyone goes to Cape. So at least try to do 3. So we're already doing some coordination with NUIPIC. And just to remind people from last year who weren't here that we got this grant from EPA through NUIPIC and they bring us kayaks and gloves and some just basically basic PPE for us to use for the weed pulls. So we'll make a stab at that again and try to do more a Newton, Mud Pond area, the northernmost end of the lake. We also have a Shrewsbury High School junior, Kaylee Gale, who's going to working on her Gold Star project for her Girl Scout Gold Star. She's going to create some brochures for us. Last year I kind of forgot about it, and people would show up and like, well, what do these look like? And I'm pulling out my phone and showing them pictures and just follow them and whatever. So we're gonna have some handouts that people will be able to use. Also do some training. They're gonna go to a bunch of the environmental groups at the high school. She's gonna do some educational outreach as part of her project. And she said she's really going to work on getting us a lot of volunteers. We had more capacity than we had volunteers last year as far as kayaks and stuff. So hopefully we'll get a bunch of high school kids. She's a rower, so she's going to work on them as well as Girl Scouts. So that'll be good. So we had a quarterly meeting. I think it was I don't know if it was November or December. I think it was December with the Shrewsbury Concom. And they organized with other representatives of the Blackstone. Katie will be on that call. She had just started, it was like her first day. We had this meeting. We will just talk about just general problems. They had representatives from engineering there as well, and just concerns we have about we get reports about wastewater spills from the pumping stations. Just did it get to the lake? How was it cleaned up? Just so there's more of an open communication, and we're just going to do those every quarter. And Pete's invited too, so we'll any questions we can bring up to them. And because a lot of times we're getting confused about who to contact within just even within the town of Shrewsbury. We have been in contact with representative from the Coast Guard Auxiliary, and they also have been meeting with officers with the safety patrol on the lake. They're part of your meetings, but they met with us, and we're gonna go to one of their meetings, tell them what the lake association's like, and I told them to invite the commission, tell them, kind of explain the difference between the two organizations. They're gonna do a lot of education. We see a lot of stand-up paddleboarders and kayakers leave Regatta Point and go out in the middle of the lake on a Saturday, and there's just so much traffic, and they just need a little bit of education to say, stay on the outside, make a big circle, make sure that if you're crossing the lake, you have a clean, view, but just to kind of randomly go in the middle of the lake doesn't make sense. So they're going to work on some educational opportunities with Regatta, and so I put them in touch with Casey. Hopefully, they're also going to do some boating safety classes and that sort of thing, which they've always done, but they're going to kind of up it and keep us in the loop. So we lost that contact with the Coast Guard several years ago when a guy, our Bill Latimer, moved to Florida. So we're excited to get this back and kind of work with them. And they're more help for you. They're going to be at the ramp, hopefully just checking papers, just doing safety checks. So that will help a lot too. And the last thing is, I was going to bring them up, but we do have T-shirts now where we have some Lake Quinsigamond swag, and very few sweatshirts, but we have a few T-shirts, so anybody can go on Facebook and contact us for that. So that's it.
Beautiful. Okay.
Thank you.
I got mine tonight. Thank you.
Peter, can I add a comment before
Sure.
we move on? I was at one of these meetings and spoke with the guy from the Coast Guard Auxiliary.
Yes.
And what he kept on pushing was they really would like to get back to teaching classes to help, safety classes for anybody who does anything on the water. So I'm just going off on a tangent here and saying, at your safety meeting tomorrow, if something evolves where we are going to end up teaching jet skiers about safety on the lake, there would be a ready source of material and people for wanting to help in that, so it won't put overtime on our law enforcement personnel. That's it.
You guys want overtime, though? Or?
I was thinking of unpaid overtime.
Oh,
which I-
unpaid
is a
overtime.
little
Oh, no,
different.
no, okay.
What's that?
I don't have to ask that question then.
No.
So, all right. Good point. And yeah, I really missed the Coast Guard Auxiliary because they did such a fantastic job. And in the old days, they towed boats if anyone was broken down. So they took a lot of heat off of law enforcement to have to deal with all that stuff on it. Because whether you're supposed to be doing it or not, that people kind of expect it when you're out there. And if they're the boat's disabled for some reason, so they did a really good job. And one of the funniest slideshows I ever saw was Bill Latimer and some of the stuff he ran into on the lake on a weekend. Everything from people taking off in their boat with the trailer still attached to it, and all kinds of funny stuff. But they did a great job. So I'm hoping that they'll bring that back. I think everybody knows how I feel about education and the boating community. That would be outstanding. It's a good segue into our next thing, which is, I believe, correspondence. And I did get a letter. Our issues with jet skis on Lake Quinsigamond is captured a national movement because we got I've been in contact and discussions with the American Watercraft Association, which is basically the American Jet Ski Association type thing, and they're big advocates for personal watercraft across the country. They did send a letter. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the gist of it basically is they obviously don't want to see a lot of restrictions on PWCs, or the operation of PWCs on the lake, but they also understand, based on our discussions, how overwhelming this problem has been for Lake Quinsigamond over the past 4 seasons, where despite all the attempts of law enforcement and they've done a lot of stuff, it's still overwhelming of what's going on across it. And they are a big proponent of education. They're a big proponent of supporting any types of stuff. And there's a bill now, and I'm encourage everyone who's watching this to call your local state representative. In Shrewsbury, it's Hannah Kane. Worcester is, and I'm going to forget some of these people, but there's Jim O'Day. There's probably 3 or 4 of them there. Dave Meridian and Grafton. But call these people up and get them to support
Hanson Act?
the Hanson Act, that's House Act, which is H 3362. So H 3362, which is an act to basically have every boat operator get certified. It's like a boat license, basically. There's a measure in there now to fund it, which is the important part when you have any kind of initiative like this. The state actually has a whole education program, the Mass Environmental Police, online, so you can that's available right now. It's just kind of bringing it to the codify it and make it a law. Maine has it, New Hampshire has one, Connecticut has a boat license program. So I believe probably 80-90% of our issues right now is because of people don't know any better, unfortunately. So I would strongly suggest that you support that and ask your representatives in the state to do the same thing. Also, Mike Moore, the senator, because there's a sister bill on the Senate floor too. I've seen this over the last, because I've been watching this for the last few years, but in the last decade, there's probably been 5 or 6 bills, and they always get stuck. Right after they go through Ways and Means says, hey, we think this is good, move ahead, and then they get tabled. So this has happened at least 3-4 times in the last 5 years. So we're hoping that this one, which is actually kind of a morphed from another Hansen bill, that this gets through and pushed forward. So I think it's a good initiative. The other thing, the correspondence we have too, is the Department of Environmental Protections has a Chapter 91. They've given us a notice of a Chapter 91 application at 249 Lake Ave, which is one of the new houses over there. So that's going to be coming before us for a dock permit on our side as well. And I believe that is it for our stuff on correspondence. So I think next is set the date of the next meeting. Listen, what do we have?
We have Wednesday, February 28th, and I believe it's at the police station, because this room is booked.
Okay.
I can confirm.
Please and thank you.
You're looking that up?
I'm going to look it up for you, yeah.
He's in charge of that calendar.
Oh, you got switched from
February 28th.
February 28th?
It's an excellent room to meet in, by the way.
Okay.
Really is.
All right. Beautiful. So February 28th it is, at 7 p.m. in the Worcester PD.
From Worcester.
Sorry, Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury PD. Whoops. Shrewsbury PD.
Be a dark room there.
Dark room. And it isn't easy to get into the Worcester PD either. So, well, depending on what you do, it's really easy to get in. So, do we have a motion to?
I make a motion to adjourn?
Second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Everyone, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
For record.
A record for me.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
You saved the jet ski correspondence till tomorrow? You saved all the jet ski correspondence till tomorrow?
You got a copy of this? You got all the stuff you need? Yep. Do you have your email address?
I don't think, we have all our pieces.